two members of the Boltor family stand out. The Prime, which is a beautiful status weapon, and my favorite, the Telos. Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're gonna be diving deeper into this Mastery Rank 12 primary weapon, the Telos Boltor. I have a couple of builds laid out for you guys, something cheap and affordable, something anybody can get into, but of course we also have the classic endgame setup with a Riven. That being said though, please keep in mind that even though the weapon has a high mastery lockout, I will be keeping my new player friendly approach. Simply because there's a lot of info here and I want anybody watching this video to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So if you're a veteran of the game and already know most of this stuff, then please, bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Telos Boltor. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and I'm going to be taking roughly 30 meters away from the wall and start shooting. As you can see, the Telos Boltor is a projectile weapon. It fires these mini bolts which have travel time to them but no inherent drop off. That means that you're gonna have to lead your targets just a little bit, again depending on the distance. And as you can see, from 30 meters away, the accuracy, well, isn't really there, so there's that to take into account. Next, let's talk about the Arbiters of Hexes, because these are the guys that sell the weapon. It's a syndicate weapon and it costs 125,000 standing, and you're gonna need to be the maximum level of Maxim. But alternatively, you can just buy it from the trade chat for about 40 plat. When you gain 2000 affinity with this weapon, you will release an AoE explosion which deals gas damage and has a guaranteed proc. And you'll also receive a boost to all of your parkour abilities, as well as 25% maximum health for the duration of 30 seconds, and that is called the Truth effect or the Truth proc. In any case, let's jump into stats and see precisely what we're dealing with. First of all, mod capacity is 60 out of 60, and if your Telos Boltor only has 30 out of 30, jump into actions and plug in the Orokin Catalyst. This one can be obtained from alerts, invasions, or if you're lucky, from the daily sortie. By MR 12, you should already have access to the sortie, alternatively you can pay 20 plat for it. My weapon has been formatted a total of 4 times, but for the weapon build I'm recommending you guys, 3 should do it. Accuracy is 25.0. Now this one I would call decent, but it makes heavy caliber a little bit wonky. Now you can go on ahead and slap on heavy caliber and see if you're happy with the resulting accuracy. When you add multi-shot to the weapon, unfortunately the additional bolts resulting from multi-shot will completely go haywire. I'm not recommending it. Slap it on, try it, see if you're comfortable with the resulting accuracy. Critical chance is 30% and the crit multi is 2.4, and this is where the Telos Boltor shines, and this is the reason why this one is my favorite version. Fire rate 9.33 with a magazine of 90 and a reload of 2.4. Pretty good uptime. We're not really gonna mess with the reload speed. When you slap on some fire rate, that magazine does seem a little short, but it's gonna be good enough. Riven disposition 2 out of 5, which means that the Rivens will be somewhat decent for the weapon, still worth getting from my point of view. Status chance only 16%. This is where the Telos Boltor suffers. You can't have everything because then you're getting into overpowered territory. When it comes to the default damage, we have no slash on the Telos Boltor, but we have a good amount of puncture. 27. Puncture deals extra damage against heavily armored targets, aka Grenier. In any case, let's start slapping on some mods, and serration is mandatory on any rifle build, 165 damage. Next, we're gonna be looking into multi-shot with the mention that if you wanna go for heavy caliber, by all means do so, test it before, that would be my suggestion. Split chamber is mandatory 90% multi-shot, and we're also gonna go for vigilante armaments. Now this one 60% multi-shot, which is not that big of a difference from the 90 from split chamber, and you also had the added benefit of the set. Now to be honest, this set bonus, especially when it's like 1 out of 6, so you only have that 5% chance, should only be an afterthought. But this is a crit weapon, we are gonna be firing plenty of projectiles at a target, and we will get some crit ups from the set bonus. Definitely recommending vigilante armaments. Next, let's get into crit chance and crit damage. Point strike, mandatory, 150% crit chance, bringing my crit chance to 75%, and of course crit damage through vital sense 120%, bringing the crit multi to 5.3. Next, you really gotta decide what you wanna do with the Telos Boltor. Do you wanna go for a slash build? Because even though the weapon doesn't have any slash, we can play through vigilante armaments together with Hunter Munitions. Yes, that is definitely a viable build, and I'll showcase that one later. Or you can simply go for a straight elemental build. When you're going for an elemental build, you gotta keep in mind where are you going and who are you shooting to slap on the correct elemental combo. For example, if you're going up against, let's say, the Corpus faction, then to be honest, the proc from your weapon, the truth proc, will be more than enough to deal with them. But you can build magnetic damage, which will deal extra damage to their shields, or you can just build Toxin, which will bypass their shields entirely and deal damage to their health. If you're up against the Infested, more often than not, fire will be enough to deal with them. Just keep in mind that the Infested have 4 health types with different resistances and vulnerabilities, and you can check that info out on the wiki. Today we're going to be taking the example of the toughest targets in Warframe, the Grineer. These guys are heavily armored targets. They have 2 armor types, Alloy, which is weak to radiation damage, and Ferrite armor, which is weak to corrosive damage. Usually, not always, corrosive damage is the best way to go when fighting Grineer. So let's make some corrosive, which is the elemental combo of electricity and toxin. And of course, the same old choice. Should I go for the 90 mods or for the 60-60 mods? Now, we don't have a very high status chance, but the 60-60 mods will constantly perform better unless you guys are going for lower level content. I'm talking about level 80s, 90s and under. Then go for the 90 mods. If not, if you're going 100 and over, go for the 60-60 mods. High voltage, 60% electricity and 60% status chance. Currently on PC, this one goes for about 30 to 40 plat. Now you can farm this one from the mission Na Elgar on the planet Eris. You will have to find all the secret caches, then upon extraction you have about a 5% chance to get this one or Shell Shock, which is the exact same mod, only for shotguns, and these two sell quite nicely if you guys want to farm that. We got our electricity, now let's go for Toxin, and this one is a lot more accessible. It's called Malignant Force, and you can find this one from Corrupted War in the Void. 10-15 plat from the trade chat, 60% Toxin and 60% status chance. And I made my corrosive and I bumped up my status chance to 66%, but with multi-shot, of course. The last mod slot is what I like to call an option slot, and in this one you can go for pretty much whatever you like. It's a smarter idea always to build a weapon to your specific gameplay style. Perhaps you like some punch through, then Shred will get you there. 30% fire rate, that will increase your DPS significantly because it lowers your kill time. Then again, you might be running into ammo issues. Remember, carrier with ammo case, and of course the 1.2 meters worth of punch through. You're gonna be able to take out multiple targets with a single shot. That is absolutely fantastic, and Shred is a great way to go. But if you guys want something to boost your DPS on a single target, like the most amount of damage I can do and all whatnot, then you want to increase your elemental combo. In my case, it's corrosive, so I can add more electricity or toxin to further increase that with infected clip or Stormbringer. Now I'm gonna get 414 corrosive. And by the way, if you guys don't have high voltage or don't want to farm it or don't have the plat, then simply swap out high voltage for Stormbringer and you can go 290 mods. It's gonna be just fine, don't worry about it. We got our first build, so why don't we test it with Edgelord Vauban. You guys like Edgelord Vauban? I kinda ran out of frames to showcase, so there's that. I'm gonna be spawning in Corrupted Heavy Gunner level 112, and apparently the dog outside doesn't like that. But let's go for straight headshots and let's see what the Telos Boltor can do. And I managed to burn through that guy in about half a clip, and you will see some crit ups as well. And one of the reasons I love bolt weapons is because they stick things to walls. I know it's such a subjective thing, but when it comes to Warframe, why the hell not? Yes, it deals considerable amounts of damage. This is pretty good, but I feel we can do better. There is another build you can try, but if you guys like big numbers and just straight out murdering your targets, then this is the build I'm recommending. There is one which is a bit more potent, and we're gonna showcase that one next. It's a bleed build. I'm assuming most of you saw this one coming, so let's switch to it. I kept my mandatory mods: Serration, Vital Sense, Split Chamber, and Point Strike. I'm not calling Vigilant Armaments mandatory, but in this case it will work quite nicely. We got a high crit chance and a nice crit multi. That means Hunter Munitions, yes, of course. 30% chance to apply a slash status to an enemy on critical hit, and this will work wonderfully on the Telos Boltor. Next, the elemental combo. It's a well-known fact that when you're building a weapon for slash, it's a smart idea to build viral damage. What viral damage does is reduces the maximum health of your target by 50% for the duration of the status effect. Keep in mind that if the status effect slips off the target while it's still not dead, then you're gonna have to reshoot it again, and this is kind of the reason why I don't like viral builds, but they are very, very efficient, especially if you guys want to go for endurance run. So we're gonna make viral, which is the elemental combination between cold and toxin. And of course we have the same old option. Should I go for the 60 mods or the 90 mods? Well, in this case we're gonna go for the 90 mods. When building a weapon for corrosive, you want additional applications of the status chance so you can further reduce the armor of a target. But what viral does is reduces the maximum health of an enemy by 50%, and that's it. So additional applications don't really help you. In all honesty, you just need 1-2 good ones and that's it. So we're gonna go for the 90 mods with cryo rounds, and of course for Toxin, infected clip. Of course, if you have prime cryo rounds, go for that one. And this is gonna be the second build, and this is the build I'm recommending to you guys. Let's test it out and see what kind of a kick it has on it. Respawn the exact same targets as before. Now with a viral build, slash viral build, you wanna hit your target till about 50% HP and then just let it bleed out. Look at that. Absolutely bloody beautiful. I got my slashes on there, I got my viral, which did not slip off the target before it died, and that is very important when it comes to a viral build, because if you have to reshoot your target again, it's kind of a pain and a DPS loss. But as you can see, a build like this will work absolutely beautiful. I got constant applications on the target, plenty of slash, and of course my viral is not slipping up. And this is what I recommend, especially again for endurance runs. Now, if you guys are going for endurance runs, there is one more build that I recommend that will prove slightly better than this one. Not a lot better, just slightly better. Unfortunately, it includes expensive mods. What we're gonna be doing is dropping viral altogether, so remove cryo rounds and infected clip. Next, Argon Scope. This one's still a very expensive mod. Currently on the trade chat on PC, 150-200 plat, as it is an event only mod and cannot be farmed from game. On headshot, 145% crit chance while aiming for 9 seconds. So basically, with the buff up from Argon Scope, I'm gonna be having 100+% crit chance. That means that every bolt that lands on the target will have that 30% chance from Hunter Munitions. As for the last mod slot, is going to be Bladed rounds. This one is an on-kill effect, and I really dislike on-kill effects, but 120% crit damage while aiming for 9 seconds. And you see the synergy here, right? You're gonna be getting more slashes on the target because of Argon Scope, and Bladed rounds will increase the amount, the damage value of the slashes. And this is the second slash build I'm gonna be recommending to you guys. It is a bit more potent, and of course we're gonna be resimulating the exact same targets. Now, because I'm using bladed rounds, I will have to get a kill before it in order to get the buff. There you go, that should be more than enough to kill that target. Buff is up. There you go, a lot more slashes on the target, and the values are higher as well, 900 plus. Now that is definitely worth mentioning, and you'll see some more orange crits as well, opposed to earlier. And again, the same tactic applies. Hit it till it's about 50%. That's what you do with a slash build in general. It also depends on the value of your slashes. Let's try something like 60%. That's it. That should be enough. No more viral on the target. This is what I love about a build like this. Even though it does need expensive mods to make it work, at least I am no longer required to wait on that stupid viral. I hate it when it slips off the target and I have to reshoot again. Pretty potent, and again, this will be the best slash build. If you guys are interested in what's the best slash build, well, this is it, pretty much. One more thing, let's go for a Riven setup. Now, a friend gave me a Riven for the Boltor. Currently, they're not very expensive, about 40-50 plat on rolled. I rolled it once. Awesome, isn't it? This doesn't happen to me, honestly. Normally I have to roll a Riven 30 times at least to get something decent, but this is truly awesome. Multi-shot, crit chance, and crit damage. Now this won't work as well for something like the Boltor Prime, but for the Telos is borderline ideal. I would have needed a negative on this one as well. Multi-shot, crit chance, and crit damage. And you will see that this is a pretty standard viral slash build through Hunter Munitions, and I'm using prime cryo rounds instead of the normal version. Now let's test and see what kind of a difference does a Riven make. It's only Dispo 2, so it's not a huge difference, but still a difference. Headshots one more time, and I'm not running bladed rounds again. I don't like on kill effects, and as you can see, it is a bit better. I don't think it's worth getting a Riven for Dispo 1 weapons, but Dispo 2 and up definitely, especially if they're not expensive. You can get one for 40, 50 plat, head on over to Kuva, farm your eyes out and try to roll it. I do love the Boltor Prime. I think it's an exceptional weapon because it bolts things to walls. Yes, entirely subjective. In any case, one more thing before we go, let's go all out with Warframe Buffs, and for that I'm gonna be switching to the lovely Lady Mirage. And let's check out what kind of buffs she's got. First of all, the aura. You can use rifle amp. Rifle damage increased by 27%. It's an aura, so everybody in the party will be getting this benefit, and it is stackable. But if you know you're going up against Grenier, then corrosive projection is guaranteed to give you better results. However, rifle amp will grant its benefit regardless of the target. When it comes to arcanes, we got a selection of two. First of all, Arcane Rage, farmable from the third Eidolon down on Cetus. On headshot, 10% chance for plus 120% damage to rifles for 16 seconds, and the usual plus 1 arcane revive. We do plenty of headshots, to be honest. I mean, you have such a nice fire rate, it would be difficult not to get some headshots considering the, well, generous hitboxes in Warframe. Arcane Acceleration is going to be our second choice on critical hit, which we do loads of, 20% chance for 60% fire rate rifles for 6 seconds, and the usual plus 1 arcane revive. So I'm going to be lowering my kill time, and I'm going to be hitting a lot harder as well. But of course, that is not all. We're also going to be activating Mirage's third ability for a massive damage increase, as well as the clones. Now, what you can do in a situation such as this is just power through and destroy everything if you want, but if you want to see the bleeds, I gotta kind of like stop halfway through. If you just want high amounts of damage, then simply go for a corrosive. This would be better in endurance runs, and I honestly believe that in the case of this weapon, the Telos Boltor, a Hunter Munitions build simply works a bit better, and it's extremely potent. And well, that's pretty much gonna do it for this weapon review. I highly recommend this weapon. It is a true endgame weapon as far as I'm concerned. The only downside, well, one, the ammo, which felt a bit wonky, and the second, the Riven disposition. But hey, you can't have them all. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you have any feedback for me or would like to request a specific weapon review, then by all means, leave it in the comment section down below. I can't realistically promise you that it will be done by next time or within a week, but I will be reading through each and every comment. But until next time, guys, bye bye.